Andrew Cuomo touring the state as he pushes to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for all New Yorkers. And Dominic caught up with the governor on Long Island and also spoke with a home care worker who shares her emotional story.
How are you, young man?
It's titled The Drive for $15, but the governor is well aware of the fact that politically,
we're going to pass it in the state of New York.
he's facing a tough uphill battle. And Richard, talking one-on-one with us, Governor Cuomo was in a good mood.
Governor, you're a movie star.
Governor, you and I, Governor, have known each other a long time. On this issue of raising the minimum wage, how do you get this done? And let's deal with the age-old argument of if you raise it to $15, it's going to hurt businesses.
Yeah, first, we do know each other a long time. Only for you would I be standing out here in the rain talking about minimum wage. They've done tons of studies over the years because this is not a new issue. We've gone through the minimum wage discussion many, many times. The studies overwhelmingly say it actually helps the economy. It doesn't hurt the economy. $15 would be phased in over a period of time, and it takes you to where the minimum wage would have been had it been indexed to inflation since the 70s. And this actually stimulates the economy because when you give a person who's making the minimum wage more money, they don't put it in their retirement account because they don't have one. They spend it, and it goes right into the economy, and it actually accelerates. But Dominic, it is the right thing. People cannot live in this state on the minimum wage. And I think that's why you see a lot of the anger and the anxiety, because people are going backwards, not forwards. And they think their kids are going to be going backwards.
We have the governor of the state of New York in the rain, so we apologize, Governor. But you already know this is going to be a tough battle with the state Senate.
Yeah. Do I ever take on the easy ones?
No. Thank you, Governor.
Thanks.
Best wishes.
Thanks, Doug.
I work 3 jobs and still not able to make ends meet. I rely on food stamps and Medicaid as far as getting my children their medical need. I have an 8-year-old who has epilepsy. If I'm paid more, I'm able to get her medication and not go into debt.
Wait, I want to make sure I have this right. Did you just say to me you're working 3 jobs and you're also on Medicaid and receiving food stamps?
Yes, because working 3 jobs that are under minimum wage, you cannot make ends meet to support a family of 4.
Donald, let me come back to the governor for a second. Why now? In that first term, people were saying, hey, on some social issues, Mr. Progressive, but everything to do with the pocketbook, he was conservative, as our friend Mr. Brodsky, what do you call him, progractionary or something like that. My point is, why now?
Well, the best way I can put it, and I have to give Mr. Whitman credit, who pointed out, don't do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who pointed out during the campaign that Cuomo was taking a lot of heat from the left. And I think that after he was reelected, I think he's trying to champion issues that will keep the base very happy. And this one is a no-lose situation. Even if he doesn't get the minimum wage, he can say he fought the good fight. And I got to tell you, Richard, in that room in Westbury today, maybe I've been out of touch for a little while, but it was very tough to stand. A lot of people in that room were home care workers, and they were telling me that they make $10 an hour, and they have to get public assistance. They're working 40 hours a week if they're lucky. And they have to get public assistance from the state of New York. Something has to give.
What do you think the chances of this making are?
I mean, again, the governor is very, very skilled when it comes to trying to get people and form these types of coalitions. He's worked with the Republican majority. It's interesting to see what this might have, what type of implications this might have on the Dean Skello special election that's upcoming, and if that plays there, and if that could tip that election, and if the Democrat wins there, I mean, then you're looking at a 50-50 split, and it's very, very likely something happens. He's taking it to the people, which is always a very, very good thing to do, and he's just trying to sell it, and I agree with everything what Dominic says. Ultimately, he comes out on top because the party, the base, the lefty progressives and whatnot, they say he's doing this, he's really trying to do this. And that's, 2 thumbs up from them.
We're also approaching budget season in Albany, so at the very worst, he's got a bargaining chip that he can use with Senate Republicans. He can offer up the minimum wage in exchange for something else, or he can do the reverse if he really wants the minimum wage. And in the more macro, I mean, let's say that he actually agrees and he thinks the minimum wage should be raised. You could take him at his word. From a macro political standpoint, he may have eyes on a future position in the Democratic administration or his own if 2020?
And Richard, every time they talk about raising the minimum wage to keep up inflation, whether it was $6.75 an hour, $8 an hour, it wouldn't, by the way, be $15 overnight. This would be staggered. I always hear every time they bring it up, oh, businesses are going to shut their doors and leave the state. It doesn't happen historically. Is there really any reason to believe that this time will really be any different?
Well, you gotta think about what the threshold would be. If you're going from $6 to $9 over a period of time, which the minimum wage was just increased gradually, and now it's maxed out at I think $9 or $9.25, whatever it is. So it has been increased. It wasn't like it wasn't increased within the past 10 years. This is the past 5 years that we've increased minimum wage. But you got to see what the threshold is. All right. So I remember when it was 5 something, over 10 years ago. But from 5 over 10 years ago now to 15, that may be the threshold that breaks the small business back. We're talking about a close to 70% increase, and I don't care if you do it in 1, 2, 3 years.
You heard what he said, and I know I got to hit a break. You making $10 an hour, you're working a 40-hour week, you're making 20 grand a year, right? How the heck does any
specifically?
And you're taking from government. This is a way to get people off of those roles.
How the heck does anybody live on 20
Nobody's saving their, no life savings.
These jobs weren't meant for people to earn a living. It was supposed to be, look, you shouldn't be 40 or 50 in a $10 an hour job.
You saw a
That's
real
why
example.
It's important.
Health home care aides, they're not all
but that's not what you're supposed to be. That's for high school students. That's for
you guys
lower
are going to be fascinated. Good interview, Don. You guys will be fascinated about this next guest on the other side of the break here. New poll numbers specifically focusing on what they call the Snapchat generation. Bernie Sanders winning these young voters big time. But what else are young people thinking? I sat down with this guy earlier today. Some of this stuff will blow you away. Stay with me.